A creepy family lived on television, and somehow America fell in love with them. They celebrated death, they laughed at danger, they treated darkness like it was completely normal. While every other sitcom tried to show the perfect American family, the Addams Family did the opposite. They adored torture, they played with explosives, and somehow they were the healthiest marriage on television. But behind the creepy mansion and those famous finger snaps, the real story was even stranger. One actor nearly died during filming when a stunt went horribly wrong. Another star suffered painful injuries for years just to play a single character. A famous character secretly hid a pregnancy that viewers never noticed. And the network that aired the show actually tried to bury it. Yes, the strangest family on television almost never survived at all. And for only 2 seasons and 64 episodes, the Addams Family changed television comedy forever. But most of the weirdest stories from behind the scenes were never meant to be known. These are 20 weird facts about the Addams Family from 1964 that you probably never knew. 20. The show used real studio audiences. One of the strangest behind-the-scenes secrets about the Addams Family is that the laughter you hear in many episodes was not fake. Unlike many television comedies of the 1960s that relied heavily on canned laugh tracks, this eerie sitcom often used real studio audiences. That decision made the show feel more alive and unpredictable. Episodes were filmed on sound stages in Hollywood, while an audience sat just a few feet away from the actors. As the cameras rolled, the crowd watched Gomez swing his sword, Morticia glide across the room, and Lurch shuffle through the mansion. When something funny happened, the laughter you heard was often genuine. That reaction was captured directly during filming rather than added later in editing. The presence of a live audience changed the rhythm of the performances. Actors sometimes paused slightly after jokes so viewers in the studio could laugh. That natural timing helped make the humor feel more authentic than many other shows of the era. John Astin especially enjoyed performing this way because his energetic style thrived on audience reactions. When the crowd burst into laughter, it often encouraged the cast to push their performances even further. Filming in front of people also created an electric atmosphere on set. The actors were not simply performing for cameras and crew members. They were entertaining a real audience sitting in the dark, reacting to every strange joke, creepy prop, and bizarre moment inside the Addams mansion. That unusual production choice helped give the show a lively, comedic rhythm that audiences still feel decades later, adding another fascinating layer to the strange charm of this classic television series. Before we move on to the next bizarre fact, take a second to subscribe to the channel and join us for more hidden secrets from classic television. 19. The theme song was written very quickly. One of the most unforgettable things about the Addams Family is its theme song. The moment those sharp finger snaps begin, almost everyone instantly recognizes the music. But what makes the story even stranger is how quickly the famous tune was created. Composer Vic Mizzy was hired to write the music for the new television series in the early 1960s. The producers wanted something unusual that matched the strange humor of the Addams household. Instead of writing a long orchestral score, Mizzy focused on creating something simple, playful, and slightly spooky. According to people who worked on the show, Mizzy came up with the idea over a single weekend. While experimenting with different rhythms, he began snapping his fingers to keep the beat. The snapping created a sharp, playful sound that perfectly matched the strange personality of the show. That small idea turned into the defining sound of the entire series. The melody itself was also simple on purpose. Mizzy wanted the tune to be easy to remember, so viewers could instantly connect it with the bizarre family on screen. To keep production costs low, he even recorded many of the harmony vocals himself. Using early multi-tracking techniques, he layered his voice several times to create the chorus heard in the final version. The result was a theme song that became far bigger than anyone expected. It was catchy, unusual, and completely different from most television themes of the era. The snapping rhythm became so iconic that people still copy it whenever the Addams Family name is mentioned, proving how a quick burst of creativity created one of television's most famous melodies. 18. The show was almost canceled. Early today, the Addams Family is remembered as a classic television series, but its future once looked very uncertain. During its original run in the 1960s, the show struggled with ratings early on. Network executives were not sure if the strange humor and gothic style would appeal to a large audience. When the first season aired, the numbers were weaker than ABC had hoped. Some executives believed the creepy comedy might simply be too unusual for mainstream viewers. Because of that concern, the network reportedly considered canceling the show before it had a chance to grow. The producers strongly disagreed with that idea. They believed the series had something unique that viewers would eventually appreciate. Instead of giving up, they pushed to keep the show alive. The cast also worked hard to make the characters more entertaining and memorable as the season continued. On their efforts, the ratings still struggled to compete with other shows on television at the time. After 2 seasons, the network finally ended the series. In total, only 64 episodes were produced. At the time, the cancellation seemed like the quiet end of a strange little sitcom. Struggling series became a cult favorite, proving that even a nearly canceled show can grow into a lasting television legend. 17. Thing had 3 different performers. One of the strangest characters in the Addams Family was not a full person at all. It was simply a moving hand called Thing. Despite having no face, no voice, and no body, Thing became one of the most memorable parts of the show. Creating the illusion of a living hand was not easy. The production team had to build special set pieces with hidden openings, so a performer could slide an arm through the furniture or walls. Boxes, drawers, and tables were often specially designed just to hide the person controlling Thing. Several different performers helped bring the mysterious hand to life. Actor Ted Cassidy, who also played the towering butler Lurch, performed many of the scenes. Because Cassidy had long arms, he could reach through hidden spaces under the set and make the hand appear naturally on camera. However, when Lurch and Thing needed to appear in the same scene, another performer had to take over. In those moments, magician Jack Voglin stepped in to operate the hand. His experience with sleight of hand made the movements look smooth and controlled. Occasionally, another uncredited performer also helped when filming schedules became complicated. Because of these changes, careful viewers sometimes notice small differences in the shape or movement of the hand across certain episodes. Even with multiple performers, the illusion worked perfectly on screen. Thing behaved like a loyal member of the family, delivering notes, answering the phone, and helping with strange household tasks. The mysterious hand became one of the most creative and unusual characters ever seen on television. 16. Carolyn Jones hid her pregnancy. Morticia Addams was one of the most elegant and mysterious characters on television in the 1960s. Played by actress Carolyn Jones, the character appeared calm, graceful, and perfectly composed in every scene. What most viewers never realized is that during much of the first season, Jones was actually pregnant while filming the show. Hiding a pregnancy on television was not easy, especially during a time when cameras and lighting were far less flexible than they are today. The production team had to find creative ways to keep the illusion of Morticia's slim, gothic figure. Costume designer Charles James played an important role in solving the problem. He created specially designed dresses that used clever seams, flowing fabric, and strategic draping. These adjustments helped conceal Jones's changing figure while still maintaining Morticia's iconic long black silhouette. Camera placement also helped hide the pregnancy. Directors often filmed Jones from angles that avoided showing her full body. In some scenes, props such as furniture or decorations were placed in front of her to block certain views. These tricks were subtle enough that audiences never suspected anything unusual. Even people sitting in the live studio audience during filming did not notice the secret. To them, Morticia appeared exactly as she always did, gliding through the dark mansion with elegance and confidence. Between seasons, Carolyn Jones gave birth and later returned to continue playing Morticia. The careful planning and clever production techniques allowed the show to maintain its mysterious Gothic atmosphere without revealing the real-life change happening behind the scenes. 15. Gomez almost had a different name. It is hard to imagine the mysterious father of the Addams household being called anything other than Gomez. The name fits perfectly with his passionate personality, dramatic flair, and romantic devotion to Morticia. Yet during the early development of the television series, the character almost had a completely different identity. The Strange family originally came from cartoons created by Charles Addams for The New Yorker. In those early drawings, the characters were recognizable, but they did not even have official names. When producers began developing the television adaptation in the early 1960s, they realized the characters finally needed proper names for the script. Charles Addams suggested several possibilities while discussing the father of the family. One of the unusual names he proposed was Repelli. The name matched the dark humor of the cartoons, but it did not sound quite right for the lively personality the television version was developing. Actor John Astin, who had been cast to play the character, felt the role needed a name that sounded more passionate and energetic. Astin believed the father should feel bold, romantic, and larger than life. After thinking about it, he suggested the name Gomez. The producers quickly realized that the name worked perfectly. It had rhythm, personality, and a playful tone that fit the character's charm. Once the decision was made, Gomez Addams became the official identity of the Strange family's enthusiastic leader. That single naming choice helped shape how audiences viewed the character. The name Gomez soon became inseparable from the dramatic sword fights, wild laughter, and endless affection for Morticia that defined the unforgettable father of the Addams household. 14. Jodie Foster voiced Pugsley. The influence of the Addams family did not end when the original television series finished its run. Years later, the Strange family returned to television through animated appearances and crossover episodes. One of the most surprising moments in that extended history involved a future Hollywood superstar. In the early 1970s, the Addams Family characters appeared in a crossover episode connected to the animated world of Scooby-Doo. The episode brought together two different spooky universes, mixing the creepy mansion of the Addams household with the mystery-solving adventures of the famous cartoon detectives. During that production, the voice of Pugsley Addams was performed by a young actress who would later become one of the most respected performers in Hollywood. At the time, she was only 11 years old. That young performer was Jodie Foster. Before becoming a major film star, Foster worked as a child actor in both television and voice acting. Her role as Pugsley in the animated crossover was one of many early jobs that helped build her career. While the appearance was brief, it placed her voice inside the strange world of the Addams Family long after the original show had ended. Years later, Foster would grow into a celebrated actress known for powerful, dramatic performances. She eventually won 2 Academy Awards for her work in film. Looking back, her early connection to the Addams universe remains an interesting footnote in both television history and her remarkable career. 13. The Addams Family and the Munsters Rivalry. During the television season of 1964, 2 unusual comedies arrived on American television at almost the same time. Both series focused on strange families living in spooky situations for laughs. Those shows were The Addams Family and The Munsters. Because the 2 series shared a similar theme, audiences quickly began comparing them. Each show had its own hobbies and dark humor. The Munster family, on the other hand, looked more like classic movie monsters living in a suburban neighborhood. Behind the scenes, the networks treated the situation like a competition. Producers wanted viewers to see their show as completely different from the other one. To keep that separation clear, the teams working on each series avoided sharing guest stars or crossover appearances. If an actor appeared on one show, the producers of the other often refused to cast them. This rule helped maintain the idea that the 2 fictional worlds existed separately. It also prevented audiences from confusing the characters or settings. Despite the rivalry, both shows gained loyal fans. The Munsters initially performed slightly better in ratings during their original broadcast. However, over time, the Addams Family developed a powerful following through reruns and syndication. The strange competition between these 2 spooky sitcoms helped shape television history, proving that even unusual ideas can capture the imagination of audiences when they are presented with creativity and charm. 12. Ted Cassidy was insecure about his height. Ted Cassidy became famous for playing the towering butler Lurch, one of the most recognizable characters in the Addams Family. His deep voice, slow movements, and enormous height made the character unforgettable. Yet before finding success on television, Cassidy's unusual height was something that made his life surprisingly difficult. Cassidy stood an incredible 6 feet 9 inches tall. As a child and teenager, that height often made him feel awkward and isolated. At a time when most people around him were much shorter, he frequently stood out in crowds. Instead of feeling proud of the difference, he sometimes felt uncomfortable because of the attention it brought. Simple things could become challenging. Furniture, doorways, and clothing were rarely designed for someone so tall. Even in daily life, he had to adjust to spaces that were built for people of average height. Ironically, the same feature that once caused insecurity eventually became the reason he was cast as Lurch. When producers searched for someone to play the eerie butler of the Addams mansion, they needed a person who looked unusual and imposing. Cassidy's height immediately made him stand out. Once he stepped into the role, that towering presence helped define the character. Lurch's silent stares, slow walks, and massive figure became a perfect match for the strange atmosphere of the Addams household. What once made Cassidy feel different ultimately became the quality that turned him into one of the most memorable figures in television history. 11. The real mansion was later demolished. One of the most memorable images connected to the Addams family is the eerie mansion seen in the opening sequence. With its tall towers, dark windows, and mysterious appearance, the house perfectly matched the strange world of the Addams household. Many viewers assumed the building was simply a studio creation, but the original exterior actually came from a real Victorian mansion in Los Angeles. The building used for early exterior shots had been constructed in the year 1888. It stood in the West Addams district, at an area once known for its grand historic homes. When producers were preparing the pilot episode, they needed a house that looked unusual, elegant, and slightly unsettling. The Victorian mansion fit that description perfectly. However, the house was only used for limited filming. Most scenes inside the Addams home were actually shot on carefully designed studio sets. Those sets allowed the crew to control lighting, camera angles, and the strange decorations that filled the mansion's interior. Despite its brief connection to television history, the real building did not survive for long. In the year 1967, just a short time after the series ended, the mansion was demolished. The land was later converted into facilities connected to Mount St. Mary's College, including a track area and parking spaces. Although the original structure disappeared, its image lives on through the famous opening sequence of the show. For many fans, that dark and mysterious house remains one of the most recognizable television homes ever created, forever connected to the strange charm of the Addams family. 10. Many props were stolen. After the show ended, the Addams mansion was filled with some of the strangest objects ever seen on television. From stuffed animals and creepy decorations to unusual devices that looked like medieval torture equipment, the set designers created a house that felt bizarre in every corner. When the series finished production, the sets were taken apart and stored on studio property. Normally, props from television shows are cataloged and placed into storage so they can be reused in future productions. But something unusual happened after the Addams family ended. At some point after filming wrapped, someone reportedly broke into the storage areas connected to the show's sets. Many of the unique props that had filled the Addams mansion disappeared. Because the decorations were so unusual and specifically designed for the show, they were impossible to mistake for ordinary television equipment. Items such as taxidermy animals, strange sculptures, and unusual mechanical devices were among the objects believed to have been taken. The disappearance surprised members of the production team because many of those pieces had been specially created just for the series. Unfortunately, none of the missing items were ever officially recovered. Over the years, collectors and fans have occasionally claimed to own pieces connected to the original set, but verifying those claims has been difficult. The mystery surrounding the stolen props adds another strange chapter to the history of the show. Even after the cameras stopped rolling, the eerie world of the Addams mansion continued to produce stories that feel just as mysterious as the fictional family who once lived there. 9. Cousin Itt was created for the TV show. One of the most unusual members of the Addams household was the tiny figure completely covered in long hair known as Cousin Itt. With only sunglasses and a bowler hat visible beneath the thick hair, the character spoke in high-pitched sounds that only the family seemed able to understand. What many viewers do not realize is that Cousin Itt stand out instantly on screen. The idea of a small figure hidden under a mountain of hair quickly caught the attention of the creative team. Actor Felix Silla was chosen to perform the role. Because Silla was short in stature, he could fit inside the heavy costume that completely covered the character's body. While filming, the actor moved carefully inside the hair-covered outfit while delivering lines in a fast, unusual voice. The character became an immediate fan favorite. Cousin Itt's strange appearance and energetic personality added another layer of humor to the already bizarre household. The popularity of the character was so strong that Charles Addams later introduced Cousin Itt into his own later comic illustrations. A character that began as a television invention eventually became an official part of the Addams universe. 8. The composer sang all the theme song vocals. The theme music of the Addams Family is one of the most recognizable sounds in television history. The snapping fingers, playful melody, and strange chorus instantly bring the mysterious household to mind. Behind that unforgettable music was composer Vic Mizzy, who played a surprisingly large role in creating the entire sound of the theme. When Mizzy began composing the music for the show, he wanted something simple, unusual, and memorable. The strange humor of the Addams Family needed a theme that sounded playful, but slightly eerie at the same time. After experimenting with different ideas, he created the catchy melody that viewers still recognize today. However, the music itself was only part of the job. The theme also included several vocal parts that sang the short lyrics describing the family. Instead of hiring a group of singers, Mizzy decided to record most of the harmony vocals himself. Using early multi-tracking technology, he recorded his voice multiple times. Each recording was layered on top of the others to create the sound of several people singing together. This clever method allowed the production to save money while still producing a full-sounding chorus. The actor Ted Cassidy, who played Lurch, also contributed to the recording. His deep voice was used for certain lines, adding an extra touch of character to the music. The final result was a theme song that sounded playful, strange, and instantly recognizable. The combination of Mizzy's layered vocals, Cassidy's deep tones, and the famous finger snaps helped create one of the most iconic openings in television history. 7. John Astin originally auditioned for Lurch. When casting began for the Addams Family, producers were searching for actors who could bring the strange household to life. The characters were unusual, so the casting process involved many unexpected decisions. One of the most surprising changes happened with actor John Astin. Today, Astin is remembered as the energetic and passionate Gomez Addams. His wide smile, dramatic sword fights, and explosive excitement became one of the most recognizable parts of the show. However, when he first auditioned, he was not being considered for Gomez at all. Initially, Astin read for the role of Lurch, the tall and quiet butler who served the Addams family. The character was supposed to be intimidating and mysterious, so the producers were exploring many different performers during auditions. Astin's performance was interesting, but something about it did not fully match the silent, towering servant they had in mind. Instead of rejecting him, the production team noticed something else. Astin's personality was full of energy and humor. He had a natural charm that made his performance stand out. Someone involved in casting realized that this energy might work better for a completely different role. The producers decided to test Astin as Gomez instead. The moment he began performing the character, everything clicked. His lively movements, passionate personality, and playful romantic style instantly defined the role. That casting change became one of the most important decisions in the show's history. Astin's portrayal of Gomez turned the character into the joyful heart of the strange household, proving how a simple audition switch helped shape one of television's most beloved performances. 6. The name Pubert was rejected by the network. When the Addams Family was being developed for television with the idea, executives at ABC believed the name sounded too similar to the word puberty. During the 1960s, television networks were very cautious about anything that might be considered inappropriate or controversial. Because of those concerns, the network 5. The set was actually bright pink. The Addams Family mansion looked dark, mysterious, and gothic on television. The walls appeared shadowy, the furniture looked ancient, and the entire house seemed filled with gloomy gray tones. Many viewers assumed the sets were painted in dark colors to create that eerie atmosphere. In reality, the truth behind the scenes was very different. Because the show was filmed in black and white, the production team had to think carefully about how colors would appear on camera. Certain dark colors could blend together and make objects difficult to see. To avoid that problem, the set designers used surprisingly bright shades when painting the interior of the mansion. Walls and decorations were often painted in colors like pink, teal, yellow, and gold. These shades might have looked unusual in person, but black and white cameras translated them into perfect gray tones on screen. This clever technique allowed different objects to stand out clearly in each scene. The unusual color choices also helped lighting crews control the overall look of the show. Bright colors reflected light more effectively, allowing the cameras to capture the strange details inside the mansion without losing important shadows. Visitors who saw the set in person were often shocked by how colorful the supposedly creepy house really was. What appeared dark and eerie on television was actually filled with bright paint and vivid decoration under the studio lights. This clever use of color demonstrated how creative television production could be, transforming a bright studio set into the haunting mansion that audiences remember today. 4. Ted Cassidy played two characters. Ted Cassidy became famous for playing the towering butler Lurch, but many viewers never realized he secretly played another character as well. In addition to portraying the silent servant of the Addams household, Cassidy also helped bring the mysterious character Thing to life. Thing was one of the strangest figures on the show. Instead of appearing as a full person, the character was simply a living hand that emerged from boxes, drawers, and small openings around the mansion. Despite having no face or body, Thing behaved like a loyal member of the family. Creating the illusion of a moving hand required clever tricks behind the scenes. Special sections of furniture were built with hidden spaces underneath them. A performer could crawl below the set and extend an arm through these openings while the cameras filmed from above. Because Cassidy had long arms, he was able to perform many of the scenes involving Thing. During filming, he often lay under the set for long periods while moving his hand through hidden compartments. The uncomfortable position required patience and careful timing. Sometimes Cassidy even came to the studio specifically to perform the hand character. However, When Lurch and Thing needed to appear together in the same scene, another crew member had to take over the role of Thing. This unusual situation meant that one actor secretly helped portray two different members of the strange household, making Ted Cassidy an even more important part of the mysterious world inside the Addams mansion. 3. Jackie Coogan transformed himself to get the role before becoming the unforgettable Uncle Fester. Actor Jackie Coogan had already lived one of the most unusual careers in Hollywood history. As a child in the silent film era, he was one of the biggest young stars in the world. However, by the time the Addams Family began casting in the early 1960s, his career had slowed, and he was searching for a role that could bring him back into the spotlight. When Coogan first auditioned for the role of Uncle Fester, the producers were not completely convinced. The character was supposed to look strange, mysterious, and slightly shocking. At that moment, Coogan's appearance did not fully match the bizarre image the creators had imagined. Instead of accepting rejection, Coogan decided to prove he was perfect for the role. Determined to transform himself, he shaved his head completely bald. He also created his own version of the character's makeup and costume, carefully shaping the eerie look that would later become famous. Once the producers saw his dramatic transformation, their reaction changed immediately. The bald head, pale face, and strange expression suddenly captured exactly what they had been searching for. Coogan's dedication to reshaping his appearance convinced them he was the right choice. After he was officially cast, Uncle Fester quickly became one of the most memorable characters in the series. His odd inventions, strange behavior, and dark humor fit perfectly within the bizarre world of the Addams household. Coogan's determination to reinvent himself not only earned him the role, but also helped revive his career, turning Uncle Fester into one of the most recognizable figures in television comedy. 2. The mansion once sat on a street. Named Addams, the dark mansion seen in the Addams Family opening sequence became one of the most recognizable houses in television history. With its tall towers, steep roof lines, and mysterious appearance, the building perfectly represented the strange and elegant world of the Addams household. What many viewers do not realize is that the exterior used for the early scenes actually came from a real Victorian mansion in Los Angeles. The building stood at 21 Chester Place in the historic West Addams district. This area was once known for its impressive 19th century homes built by wealthy families. Interestingly, the history of the neighborhood included a small coincidence that felt almost too perfect for the show. At one point in the past, the street in that area had been known as Addams Street. Although the name later changed, the connection made the location feel strangely appropriate for the Addams Family mansion. The real house was mainly used during the pilot episode and in the opening title sequence that introduced viewers to the strange family. After that, most scenes involving the house were recreated on studio sets, where the production team had more control over lighting and camera angles. Despite its brief connection to television history, the building itself did not remain standing for long. In 1967, only a few years after the series ended, the mansion was demolished. The land was later used for new facilities connected to a nearby college. Even though the real structure disappeared, the image of the eerie house remains permanently connected to the mysterious world of the Addams Family. 1. Lurch's catchphrase was an accident. Among the many unforgettable moments in the Addams Family, What began as a small improvisation during filming ultimately became one of the defining elements of the entire series. The Addams Family may have looked strange on screen, but the real stories behind the show are just as fascinating. From improvised catchphrases and hidden pregnancies to stolen props and surprising casting decisions, this classic sitcom hides a long list of secrets that most viewers never realized. That's part of what keeps the show so interesting even decades later. If you enjoyed uncovering these weird facts, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss the next deep dive into classic television secrets. And if you know another strange Addams Family fact, drop it in the comments. More hidden Hollywood stories are coming very soon.